Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video of some F1 2021 gameplay. And yes, we are here for to drive the white Red Bull, and indeed also my very first laps at Imola on this game. Obviously I have driven Imola before when it was on F1 2013, but obviously that was a slightly different layout of the final corner. Obviously a different generation of cars really, compared to what we have nowadays. A lot more downforce. But anyway, let's cut to a lap of Imola. This is my very first lap, so there will be mistakes. Default setup, I will load a setup and show you why a setup is probably ideal, that you do actually have a setup, because you're just going to steer later on. But first straight isn't too bad there. This one you just got to make sure you don't clip the curb too much. You can go, I found that you can go aggressive on that curb. Try and again, depending on what corner cut. This corner is absolutely dreadful. For the assist runners, if you're brake, unless you've got steering assist off. If you've got steering assist off, then you're going to need to lift off for that corner. But how much you lift off, I find you need to get used to. It's a bad thing. This corner can be a little bit of an issue, as I see there, because you just end up going wide. But this is absolutely a grind. This corner as well, the curb on that inside, if you clip that, you can end up in the wall. If you go too wide for that corner, you just do what I done. And here, this is what I was saying. That chicane is absolute pain if you don't have a setup on it. But it's a very quick lap as we come down the hill. These final two corners, just make sure you don't go too wide, but not so much on that corner. It's this exit here that I find that I lost a couple of my times through there. But nevertheless, up to the line of a 1:16.5. Now eventually I managed to cure that by loading a setup, lift off slightly, and then get a tighter cut in here. I haven't found quite the perfect line. You probably want a bit of an exit, and this is why you need a setup. Look at the exit from that curve. It's the exit from that chicane, excuse me. Half a second, it's what it's worth. So it's definitely worth loading a setup on. This was actually my fastest lap with the one setup, as I did a couple of laps without a setup on the default setup, and then I went and loaded one a setup. I think I loaded Marcel Kiefer's setup.
You join us in Imola as we prepare for what will undoubtedly be a magnificent day of racing. It's time, of course, for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. .1 miles of track here at Imola, featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula 1 circuits as it's driven anti-clockwise. Let's hope no one forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight of the circuit and its only DRS zone.
So here we go, on the grid for a race. Of course, it wouldn't be one of these episodes without a race. We're going to try a different one stop, because we're in last place, and I think we can do this. We might go long on the medium tyres. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on the tyre wear. Really, I don't want to run out of tyres on the softs and sort of go through the grid. But 5 red lights then for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. No lights out, and away we go, and it's an okay start. We're going to get ahead of Mazitwat, interestingly. Now we're looking at Schumacher a bit in his bit of cardboard, trying to get down the inside of, I think that's Latifi, going side by side with Russell, but Russell's going to close the door on us on the exit of that second corner there, and in the end we have to dive bomb Russell up the hill to try and get the position, and we do indeed make the position. In fact, Russell might lose the position to Schumacher, and we're up to P16 then. But jumping to the end of lap 1 then, we were already closing in on Giovinazzi. Can we get ahead of the Italian? Yes, we can. Watch the ERS if you're in a Grand Prix mode. If you're in a career mode and you've got a load of ERS upgrades, then you'll be fine. But I found that I wasted my ERS within a lap or two there. And Giovinazzi actually decided he didn't want to race in one of his home Grand Prix, so his engine decided to retire him from the race. So Giovinazzi is first casualty out of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Next up, move to lap 3, we'll dive bomb on Stroll into turn 1. We're going to close the corner into turn 2, and we're going to get up into P14. We'll get a replay of this because I think Stroll tried to come back at us. Yes, he did, but then he went over the curbs and then touched our rear curb. Next up is Raikkonen, Kimi flying high in the Sol Alfa Romeo now. I mean, this is a corner move that I like to make. Maybe around the outside or down the inside. Either way it does, but you can make it either way at that corner. That corner is one of the corners you get done. Just as long as you close the car in front and get DRS, because as we're going to DRS is so strong around here. But this, I'm sorry, this is actually if you get the corner, the things right, it's absolute heaven to drive. And the AI are fun to race around here as well. You have to work to make your overtake as Tsunoda tries to squeeze us onto the grass there. Ocon and Tsunoda were battling there. He capitalised on Ocon, but a replay here. Ocon there he tried to go around the outside, and then really only just managed. Also, oh so close, we got a bit wiggly on the exit as we went on that curve. So say the curbs are very inviting, they're very flat. And they do invite, so we are going a bit longer on these medium tyres just to avoid the tyre wear really. But DRS, Tsunoda's really a sitting duck around the outside. If you are going around the outside, just watch the AI will probably try and stick it up the inside at that corner. So just make sure you are clear. Otherwise, well, there'll be an incident. But into the pits we come. It's a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit. This white line isn't quite that easy to see in the sunshine, but we're coming in then. Unfortunately, one thing I will criticise Codemasters for, they've got the car livery. One thing they haven't got is they've got the driver's overalls. They have not been adjusted as well. So 2.4 second stop. Let's see, we're going to go out behind Alonso, but we're going to be flying on these soft tyres now. We're going to jump Tsunoda. We're actually not going to jump him. We're going to come back ahead of Tsunoda. Jump to lap 12 now. So yes, jumping to lap 13 then. We're now caught up to our back of Alonso, Leclerc and Gasly, all those fighting down the inside up to the penultimate corner down the hill. Alonso though isn't going to let us so close on the outside there, but we do indeed make the move on Fernando Alonso up to P9 now. Next up is Leclerc. Can we get a good exit out of the corner? We're both going to close up on Gasly, who's going to be a sitting duck down the straight. It's going to be 3 wide almost, and old Leclerc backs out there. Gasly comes to take the racing line. Gasly forces us off. We've had to take a bit of the curbing, and I'm not entirely sure we were 3 wide at that curb, but Gasly gave us absolutely no room in the second part of turn 1 into turn 2. Yes, we were 3 wide. Leclerc took the inside. That's why we had to cut the curb there. FI18, that illegal overtake. Next up, Carlos Sainz up into P7 now. As Gasly is ahead of Leclerc. We're trying to go around the outside of Sainz. Oh, so close, and I think there's contact with Sainz, and I think Sainz is round. Okay. He didn't yield the position. Here's a replay with Sainz. Yes, he... I tried my best leaving as much space as possible, but I was ahead at that point. I mean, we jumped to the final lap then. This is the final lap of what has been a race from the back of the grid. Can we get P5, even P4 from the back of the grid? That would be what a way to round off my very first race around Imola on F1 2021. Lando Norris though, I don't think we're going to get Ricciardo. Can we get Norris into the final corner? It's a dive bomb down the inside. Norris gives us the room and yields the position. We're up into P5. Ricciardo unfortunately isn't unable to get ahead of us, and in the end we come across the grid, the line, the P5. I'll definitely take that from the back of the grid as well. What a track Imola is, and hopefully hopefully this is on the F1 game for years to come, because they have done, I don't usually praise Codemasters, but they have done a good job in the modelling. There's a couple of little things that I will be nitpicky about, the assists and whatnot, but overall it's a good job by Codemasters. And in the end, P5, solid result. Bottas beat Hamilton in the end to win the Grand Prix. As well, Perez getting that P3 really, default performance I should say, but yes, that's where I'm going to round off today's video. If you have enjoyed this video, then leave a like, subscribe channel, and you see plenty more episodes of F1 2021 gameplay as when they come out. F1 2022 game ideas will be back next Friday as well, but until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.